Breaking news tonight, new evidence just released in the Trayvon Martin shooting investigation. Good evening, I'm Jim Payne.
I'm Martha Sagowski. We now have new 911 calls from the night Trayvon Martin was killed. This is all just into our newsroom. West 2's Bob Keeling has been pouring through this new material. And Bob, there's some pretty strong stuff here.
Well, and it's interesting, Martha, because there are not a lot of pictures that we've seen in there, but some of them pretty interesting. We also want to mention that one of the interviews we have not heard before is with the first responder who treated George Zimmerman there on the scene the night of the shooting on February 26th. This is the first time that we've heard this first responder describe the injuries that George Zimmerman suffered.
Can you describe the wounds in detail that you saw Mr. Zimmerman?
Well, he had a definite laceration to the back of the head. I mean, he had like real short, like almost like ball type. So you could tell. I mean, it was pretty big. It was probably about at least an inch by about half an inch wide. So I mean, it was a definite wound back there. He had some abrasions on his forehead. He had kind of like a deformity on the nose, kind of looked swollen. He had some abrasions on his cheeks and his face.
Now, according to the New York Times, the only picture that Sanford police took of George Zimmerman that night at the scene was a straight-on photo. And here you see it's kind of grainy, but it does appear that there is a swelling around George Zimmerman's nose. Meanwhile, another major issue is just who was screaming for help that night. You've heard Trayvon Martin's mother say that she knows without a doubt it's her son. Well, now we're hearing from George Zimmerman's father, who tells quite a different story.
The 911 and the other tapes were played for the Martin family, and they identified that as their son crying for help. That is absolutely, positively George Zimmerman. Myself, my wife, family members, and friends know that that is George Zimmerman. There is no doubt who's yelling for help. Initially, when Mrs. Martin or her attorneys said that it was their son, I thought, well, you know, she's under stress like everyone else, and I thought the tape might be, you know, not very good. When I listened to the tape, it was surprisingly good to me. And that was George. And he was, I mean, he was not just yelling. He was, sounded like he was screaming for his life.
Now, a number of these documents also include interviews with several witnesses. There's also 911 calls, but those witness names are not identified. They've been taken out by the state. So the 911 call you're about to hear is from someone we know only as witness number 3.
Emergency for police, fire, medical.
Police, please.
For what address or location?
There's someone screaming outside.
Okay, so what is it? Is that what you are at?
That's right, there is a gunshot. Hurry up.
Okay.
Yeah. Stanford, Florida, 32771.
Okay, do you see anybody? I don't need you to go outside.
There's someone screaming. I just heard a gunshot.
So you hear the 911 call, and one very interesting part of that woman, along with another witness, says that it was just a few moments after the shooting that police arrived. Now, you can take a look. These are some brand new pictures also. These are also evidence pictures taken, we believe, of George Zimmerman the night of his fatal encounter. There you see blood coming out of the back of his head. Zimmerman claiming that Trayvon Martin slammed his head against the ground again and again. And you do see some blood trickle out of the back of his head. You just heard a first responder say that it appears there was some sort of irregularity with his nose as well. The Zimmerman camp later reporting that in a doctor visit the very next day, Zimmerman indeed had a broken nose. So certainly these photos coming in that do appear to show George Zimmerman wounded could go a long way towards his defense making the claim, successfully perhaps, too early to tell, that George Zimmerman was basically acting in self-defense when he pulled the trigger of his 9mm weapon and shot and killed Trayvon Martin. So that's some of the information we've gotten. Jim and Martha are still going through it. We'll bring more as we get it. Back to you.